All right, welcome to the Forge Coffee Break or APS Coffee Break. This is the episode number 70, and as usual, thank you very much for joining. This is a very much open space for any kind of questions or topics you may have. And as usual, let me start with you. If you have any questions or topics that you'd like to bring up, you can open your microphone. You are also welcome to open your camera. So let's start there. Any questions or topics, please open up.
Well,
See a lot
hi.
of repeating names, and I hope you can hear me fine. It should
Yes,
be.
can you hear me, Augusto?
Do I get something wrong? Hate doing that, but there is a Zoom bingo that if you ask, can you hear me? That's me, number one on the bingo.
Hello?
I think I have something wrong then, because I see a bad speaking.
Yes, I'm trying to speak, but can you hear me? Hi, Adam.
Oh yeah, now I can hear.
How are you? Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Actually, I just jumped up from the virtual boot camp, and I'm trying to tell everybody as well about the coffee break. So I hope they will join soon, all of them as well. We were so many people there. Yeah, but I got a question. I guess it's a little bit annoying about the events in the markup. So just trying to load in the edit mode, and I saw you wrote a blog post, Augusto. So
Yeah.
if I'm allowed to share my screen, I can show you very fast.
While you do that, indeed, this week we're running a series of trainings like webcasts or webinars where people can learn about the APIs. So Monday was about how can you view a model using two-legged. Tuesday was about connecting to Vim 360 ACC. Today was about dashboards, and tomorrow will be about design automation. So very interesting week.
Exactly. So can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. So basically, I'm using two different events at the markup extension. So I'm using the first one event on edit mode leave, right? And then it's here. So when I'm leaving, I'm extracting all the data from as a string, and I'm stored in my database. The second event, which is I'm struggling with, on event enter. So when I'm trying enter, I'm collecting the string, SVG string, and then trying to load it. So basically here where I'm facing problem. So I was playing around here with those methods that the extension itself, and I need to add leave edit mode and then show, not sure about it. But then I need to add load markups and then show markups. So yeah, but the problem is which is here. So when I'm trying to click on it to get all of them, so I'm getting it, but I'm kind of, I can't do anything else. Whereas I supposed to maybe change them, add some other stuff.
So I believe the markups once you unload and reload, right? That's an SVG. They cannot be edited, right?
Actually, if I do it the other way around, if I use, let me just comment this, and then if I go down here, yeah, if I'm using other event, right? I'm using the tool change event, and I'm doing the same things. I'm saying that if it's active, and then name is markup core, and there is page, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm saying leave edit mode, load my string, and then allow me to edit them. So if you see it now, So now I can do anything with them. I can use it. I can
On the
do
other
whatever
case, you didn't put the enter edit mode, right?
Yes, in the end, but I need to use the specific event enter edit mode. So now if you see here, when I'm exiting, I'm allowed to send them to the database. But what I'm doing here, I'm tricking that I'm reloading the viewer and the model in the viewer so to extract the latest. Otherwise, I'm not saving, I guess, the previous state of the markup. So now if I'm loaded again, I can do. So let's say, let's change the color to red and close, which it will save, we'll send it to the database. And if I open it again, now it will be changed. But if I don't do that, it always will save the first SVG string I load.
Yeah. So I think I may need to have a longer debug session here.
Yeah,
I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a question. If it's in your mind, so you
No.
can.
Yeah. No.
Otherwise, I will.
Yeah. No.
Otherwise, we
Yeah.
don't need to waste time here.
Yeah. So yeah. So the markup is saved as SVG. So just for everyone's understanding, right? The markup is saved as SVG. And you can unload and reload. You can enter and leave those modes to edit the markup. But probably have to spend some extra time there to understand the events and the sequence that is happening.
Yeah.
What I would suggest is that you book a time on the Calendly. And then you can deep dive on the code there.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was thinking as well.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks, Abel. So yeah, okay. So Moses was asking about the training. Yes, you can still register and yeah.
Actually, I didn't find the link there because it says the event is closed or something.
Yeah. Well, it is. Yeah, it is closed because we sent the invites Friday, I guess. So Moses, maybe you can reach us on, I don't know, maybe we can just email you the link for tomorrow. So I think
that would be great.
Yeah. So can you send me a private message on Zoom with your email just to confirm, and then I can send you the invite for tomorrow.
Will do. Thank you very much. Trying to refresh my design automation playbook.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. So there are a few interesting things on our side, right? I think the first one that is probably big and relevant is that we released a few months back, we released the version 2 of the authentication API. That version 2 is now more in alignment with the industry standards. Right? So version 2 is now available. Well, it's available since 2-3 months ago. And we are now marking V1 as deprecated. And there is a migration guide on what is changing. The biggest benefit of V2 is that it's more aligned with industry standards, OpenID, and there are a few not minor, but also interesting things that I want to point out. So the first one is the support for PKCE workflow, meaning that you can have more secure implementation where your client has the client ID, the thing that you send to the client, right, to the user's machine, right? You can have the client ID, and you can have security there with the code challenge, right? So that's quite interesting, and allows single page applications, mobile applications where you don't have a server side to work better. And there are a few also minor things here that I want to show. It's the logout endpoint that you can just redirect someone here to remove the session. So in case you are signing out from your app and also signing out from Autodesk, right? You can enforce that. And there's also a revoke endpoint where you can just remove access or revoke access, of course, from an existing access point, access token. So a few extra things. And the support for OpenID. So we probably send a newsletter today or tomorrow that includes the deprecation of V1, and will be 6 months from now. So if you have an application, you can start moving to V2. And here's a very quick summary of what's changing. And of course, there's a migration guide that shows step by step what's changing from V1 to V2. Any questions? Or everyone uses this, so affects all the applications, but no, you still have a lot of time to migrate and adjust. And if you're just using two-legged, should be quite straightforward. Essentially, you just move from get token to token endpoint and pass the client ID and secret as a header parameter instead of a body parameter. Again, this is just to comply with OpenID.
Good morning.
Hi.
I talked, I think, last week with João about it. He also told me that solves one of the issues I had here. That was when I got a new token using the three-legged authentication, and that and I got a new token using refresh token. It comes not with the structure of a JWT token. It actually comes like it sounds like a hash string or something, but it's not structured as it is a JWT token. And he told me that moving from V1 to V2, that should resolve the issue. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but João told me, I think, last week about it.
I'm not aware
Yes,
of an issue there. Oh,
Yeah,
Adam.
because with V1 you needed to call a different endpoint when you get a token or do the refresh. And in some of the apps are just by default calling the same endpoints for both operations, unless you have the ability to specify to use a different endpoint for that. With V2, I think it will be the same endpoint for both.
Yeah. So that was one thing. It was really difficult for me because, well, I was working with an app that uses three-legged authentication, and I was like checking for client JWT token to authenticate on my API using Autodesk token. And when I store the token and the token like is invalid or anything like that, is expired, it actually when I refresh the token, when I use the refresh token and I regenerate using V1, it actually comes with a non-JWT token, and that actually is not helpful because I was using the claims within the JWT token. If it's not is not a JWT token like formatted, that actually happens to throw a few errors. And John told me that migrating for V to V2 works.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that there are several benefits, right, on V2 that I mentioned, and but no, it's interesting that it's solving a problem. So I'm actually happy that it's helping to solve the problem. Is that easy for you to move to V2, or do you have to do a lot of work?
I think it's going to be like pretty straightforward. I mean, I'm building like an SDK. I talked to João. I did like a V0.1 release at Nougat. Like I wanted to create my own SDK for a while now, so I went to it, and It's using V1 right now. I'm going to make a few tweaks, and V2 might be working like
Okay.
pretty straightforward.
Excellent. Yeah. So I think that's valid for everyone, right? The move should be mostly straightforward because there is a one-to-one match for what you have on V1 to V2. It's just really to be compliant with OpenID, so it should be direct. Yeah, but no, thanks for sharing, Alan. Quite interesting. One thing that is interesting here is that Adam has Mikako on his name. That's something happening there, Adam. Picking on him, he can pick on us as well.
What?
Your name on Zoom says Mikako. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, because Mikako shared the invitation link with people. So I just
really?
yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Okay, cool. All right. What else?
Hey guys,
Hi, Alex.
just wanted to ask probably for advice if I share my screen. That's my application, and I have a kind of problem. This is a rather big model. It's a configurator style application for facade designs. Lots of objects made by scene builder application. In general, it works for good. We have warnings. And now I am displaying it using adding overlays. All these guys are sharing the same geometry, but as you see now, performance is not very good. Probably you can advise me something to replace, how to deal with that better.
So, so Alex, can you repeat one more time? How exactly are you adding the warnings? How you said AD and overlay?
Yes, viewer.import.add overlay. And all the geometry is the same. I'm creating is using buffered geometries and meshes and just applying coordinates transform.
So those are wait. So those are individual geometries, or is it one large buffer geometry with all these points?
This is individual geometry because I need to modify it. Let's say if I split it, then
okay,
it's changed, and again.
I see. Okay, so you need to be able to change them. But I think even then, even if you need to change them, it could still be one large. It's almost like it's asking for a point cloud, right? I think would make a lot of sense because even if you have a point cloud, that's inserted as a single object in the scene, you can still modify the individual points. You can add more or change their positions. I think that would be preferable because if you do it that way as a point cloud, it's going to be a single object in a single draw call on the graphics card. Here, it looks like if these are separate geometries, if you have a large number of them, I mean, I don't know how many could be here. It could be like a couple hundred, maybe a couple thousand. Those would be every single one of these little meshes has to be sent as a separate command to the graphics card, which is killing performance, right? It's always better to aggregate as much as you can into a, so again, having a single point cloud or a single buffered mesh with all the points inside this single mesh is always going to be better for performance. Right? We have a couple of blog posts either by me or by Michael on that you can find on the aps.autodesk.com/blog, where we talk about the different approaches, like, you know, inserting point clouds into the scene. So I would recommend that you take those.
Thank you.
Sure.
And one more question not related to that. design automation. It was a good one published SVF from the DWG from AutoCAD. The problem is that latest version is AutoCAD plus 22.
Okay, and is that so? You would need this SVF generation for a newer version of AutoCAD.
Would be very nice, but we don't have it as shared
Do you see
activities anymore.
Do you see any problem with this old version?
It's obsolete and it will be removed in November or so.
Oh yeah, no. Other than that, I mean, is there any problem with the render, the output that you're getting, right? Because the DWG, yeah, the DWG file is the same since 2018, right? But yeah, so I'm just asking if there is any problem with the output. But to your point, right, the version, yes, we are going to deprecate that, and eventually that activity will be fixed. But the yeah, I was just curious if there is any problem with the output. But anyway, we have to fix this one. I'll make sure to follow up and fix that one.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, actually, that 22 means AutoCAD 2020, right?
2018 or so.
Yeah,
probably. I'm not fully sure, but it's really became obsolete very soon.
No, that's definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks for reporting that. Yeah, so we are deprecating the old versions of the engines, and we are going to support current plus 5, plus 3 with new activities, and plus 2 more equal 5 to run. And it's just that if you think about it, the desktop applications, this is just using the same desktop support. So eventually users will not be using those old versions anymore. And also those old versions require no security patch, Windows security patch as well, that most of them are not available. So that's why I have to keep moving. So yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that was the question.
Yeah, thanks, Alex.
A new version of it.
Yeah.
More than one. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. There is a question from Hi. I need to deal with display orientation icon. Would you like to take a idea here, Peter, or maybe?
I was looking at the question. So Hi, are you asking about finding the world orientation from your mobile phone?
Hi, yes.
That's interesting. I mean, I know that there's new web APIs that can be used on mobile devices to find orientation in general, but I'm not sure if it actually tells you like the world.
Isn't it GPS location?
Oh no. People. My team are developing a IoT kit. They can capture panorama picture, and we want to link the direction on the to the viewer. Also, when they send the picture panorama from the construction site to server. So we need the direction of the smartphone.
Yeah, the only thing I remember I was experimenting with, let me send the link to the chats, is this one, device orientation API. But again, I think this only uses like the accelerators in your device to detect the deltas, right? Like the relative rotations or orientation, not like showing the actual north or something like that.
I've seen some apps on mobile devices which actually shows you which way is north, right? So there must be some way of.
Okay, but maybe not available through like
right.
web APIs or something.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Sure.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know either. Yeah, thanks, Peter. Yeah, I'll make sure to include those links when I share the recording later. But yeah, that's. I also saw that now you can do push notifications from web applications. That's interesting. That's also improving. All right, we are almost at the end. Any last topics?
One more comment. I'm looking online, and it looks like, I don't know if this is generally available, but WebKit seems to provide an actual true north. So again, this looks like this is something that's part of the device orientation API that I was sending out earlier. But it looks like this WebKit compass heading is in degrees starting at due north. So maybe, but again, since this is only on WebKit, I'm not sure if this is going to be generally available in other browsers. So yeah, degrees relative to magnetic north. So it sounds somewhat close to what Kai is looking for, I think.
Yeah. But if your application works on iOS, iPad, then it should be fine. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Our app built on native, so we also see it on iOS and Android.
Oh, so you have a native app. Okay, so then
Yeah.
it might be a little easier to retrieve the magnetic north than, as Adam was saying. I think on like native level, it's going to be easier than through web APIs.
Yeah, it's always
Thank
challenging
you.
with web because you are limited to what the browser allows you, not what the device allows you. You cannot always have limitations there.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Just one last thing before we close up, more like a awareness. We did release the Building Connected API this week. Actually, it is there for a couple weeks now, but now we're just finalizing the announcement. So there is a product, and there is an API. Building Connected is part of ACS, and it's an API for the product. Building Connected, it's really about bids with connecting GCs and owners. So it's quite interesting, the product, and there is an API for it now. And there are different features there: Connected Pro, Build Pro, Trade App, and there are APIs for it. So if you have considered integrating with Building Connected, now there's an API. Some good news. And yeah, I think one last question, Alan, the documentation on AR/VR together with APS or AR/VR, we have some samples on how to stream data from your APS model SVF into Unity, but from there you have to stream into your application. Is that what you're asking?
Yep, I think we don't have a ready to out of the box solution. We give you some lower level tools, like we give you ways to bring your models from APS into Unity, let's say, and then in Unity you can create your Quest virtual reality application, or you can turn your Unity app into a mixed reality app for HoloLens, for example. I had some samples there, so you can try and find them for you if that's something you'd be interested in.
Place, yeah, I've been looking for something around that. I saw that a long time ago there was this extension, I think, for viewer that worked with AR/VR, but it's no longer. So
you mean the WebXR, right? Extension.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes. I think that was based on an older API that was actually, I think, discontinued, right? So that was this old WebXR or WebVR standard, or specification. I don't remember which one it was. And then it got canceled, and then they came up with a new web standard for AR/VR. And I'm not sure if, I mean, eventually we could update that extension to use the new standard, but that probably hasn't happened.
The extension was now removed from the view, right? It's not available anymore on
It's
the
probably,
newest version.
yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw that it was working like V2, V3, I think, something like that.
Yeah, for quite a while ago.
So with that, and really just to finish in time, thank you very much for joining. Alan, if you have anything, we're definitely going to blog about it. But yeah, just closing up, the next coffee break in 2 weeks, same link, same time. And yeah, hope to see you there. And yeah, thank you. See you soon.
Right. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.